No, all right, and we're live here at Dinner and a Movie. I'm Nasty Neal.
And this is Annabelle Lecter.
And again, this is Dinner.
And a movie
Aha!
From Home edition.
Yes, the home edition.
The North. Neal is in the South.
You're on the wall.
I am on the wall. I'm defending the wall. I defended the wall today, actually.
Yeah,
I did.
And I actually saw some of our guests, former guests, were doing this as well. She's amazing. She, the Addams Family.
Yes, Toby
Poser.
I believe it. Toby Poser rocks.
Yes, she was out there with I'm gonna go find this because this was amazing. She was out there with another former guest of ours.
Really?
Judith Roberts, who is 9 years old, and she's out there protesting. I was like, she rules.
How old?
90.
You know, that was something. So I should get my shirt. You find a picture or something, and I'll be right back with
yeah, so Judith Roberts was on the show a few years ago. It was during the video days. Let me find. All right, here we go. So here is. I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this. It was. It's a public photo. Boom! Look at that. That's amazing. Toby Poser and Judith Roberts out there. You should get her back on.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. That would be cool. We should do a protest month. So today I wore that's the protest of the day. I don't know if this is the way to start the show, but it's where it went. So no, it was great. And honestly, we're already there. There was a beautiful mix of the elders and the youngers. And I really hope young folks out there stop bitching about boomers, because these people have been protesting like their whole lives. So be kind to your boomer elders.
Yeah, I think that the whole generation, like, are like, oh, you're a millennial, you're a generation. All that stuff's kind of stupid because, like, not every person who's born in a 12-year span or whatever it is exactly the same.
Not exactly the same.
Yeah, I find it very simple.
Which actually, I think, hey, what's up?
Hey, Chobo.
What is that back about? A year?
Yeah, let's see. Hey, how you guys doing? By the way, I'm up to 2010, I believe, in his. He's writing his memoirs.
Oh, wow.
He'll return to Facebook in a year. Terrible Troy is here. Troy, have you seen Jenny Penn? If you've seen Jenny Penn, if you just want to talk, if you want to listen to us,
you can come on into the pool. So talking about age, coincidentally, we saw this amazing film, The Rule of Jenny Penn, which we were privileged enough to have a trailer for with Geoffrey Rush and John Lithgow.
Mm-hmm.
And we just watched it. This is a new era of Dinner and Movie where we're going to try to do more of the films that we get.
Yeah, because we get so many.
Yeah, there's a lot. And then ones at the movie theater are awesome and cool. We want people to go to their local theaters. And at the same time, we want to share with you things that maybe you wouldn't hear about, know about. But this is out and about right now. And you could see it like basically everywhere, honestly.
Yeah, it's playing on Shudder right now. So if you have a, by the way, Shudder last night, Joe Bob Riggs, the last drive-in, it's slasher month and he double feature slasher film. So he did a modern one, the In a Violent Nature.
Oh, really?
Great movie. And you can check out, we have an interview with Johnny himself, Ry Barrett, on the website. And also a gem, I would say, kind of an underrated gem. And that is Intruder, which is a 1980s slasher film. Danny Hicks is in it. who's also been on the show. The late Danny Hicks, great guy. He's also from Evil Dead 2. So cool. Check both those out.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So
Nasty Neal is in here. And he says, your ex ad made this appear as if John Lithgow were going to be on the show. No, I mean the movie is has John Lithgow and Geoffrey Rush.
Oh, well, message them, petition them. We will try.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get them.
Yes, I don't know if it'll be them, but it would be amazing. We don't know. This is just fantasy land at this moment. Mm-hmm. So let me see here. What do we got over here for a nice little description?
So to make this real quick, to make this dinner in a movie, I'm drinking the new blueberry lavender unsweetened polar seltzer.
That's really exciting. I'm glad, because usually their seasonal ones are the best ones.
Yeah, they skip right over spring. Apparently, they went from winter to the new summer ones are out.
That's cool. I am having the Cape Codder of cranberry juice and vodka. I'm pretty excited about it. This is my new time. My new drink.
Well, yeah. See, we're not together in person, so the Cape Codder makes you think of me on the Cape. I understand. And New England's best. Exactly, I understand. And the New England's best caramel popcorn. I sent you the link, Troy, if you do want to jump on with us.
Yeah, Troy.
He asked me last how the weather was. I got soaked walking. I was out on my walk, and I got completely soaked. And I had like 2 or 3 miles left to get home, and I was drenched by the time I got home. But I'm alive.
Amazingly, at the which was so jam packed. I was up norther than myself a little bit, and I was shocked how many people there were. Shocked, because this is a place that is very small. It's Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It's a very small city. It gets its protests every once in a while. There's a protest or a hooray, and the Market Square is where it's at. It was just freaking. Oh, that's okay, Troy. Troy has not been feeling awesome.
Yeah, we hope you feel better, Troy.
Yeah, wish you well, Troy. Take care of yourself. Who's Nasty Neal? Who is the man behind Nasty Neal?
I don't know who it really is, but he's around, and he even told Terrible Troy, he was like, if Neal has a problem with the name, I'll change it because I'm a fan. I was like, no, I think it's funny. It's fine.
Nasty Meal. It's like a happy meal.
Exactly.
Nasty Meal.
We're gonna have to put these together and start selling them at festivals.
Exactly. So the rule of Janny Penn, I just lost it. Where did you fly? Confined to a secluded rest home and trapped within his stroke-ridden body, a former judge must stop an elderly psychopath who employs a child's puppet to abuse the home's residents with deadly consequences. This movie was awesome.
Yeah, I freaking loved it. I've been dying to see it ever since I heard about it and saw the cast. I'm a huge. I love Geoffrey Rush too. Don't get me wrong, Geoffrey Rush, but John Lithgow is one of my favorites. Both of them have such range, but Lithgow can play like this really nice guy. He can be very funny, and he can be really sadistic and evil and things.
Yeah, a far cry from Harry and the Hendersons.
Indeed, and but Geoffrey, the Trinity Killer and Dexter.
Yeah, he's been around doing the things.
Third Rock from the Sun. That's comedy, but it's fun.
That was very fun.
Good show. I mean, yeah. There's Geoffrey a man on the wing of this plane.
What?
There's a man on the wing of this plane. Twilight Zone, the movie, which unfortunately, well, I can't say unfortunately. I mean, people did die making it, but it is. I do think it's one of the best anthologies. But
really?
A lot of people don't like to talk about it because people died making it.
They don't like to talk about the movie?
Yeah, it's kind of just be I understand, people really died in the movie, while they're making it. So
oh, well, it doesn't seem really fair that you can't talk about the movie.
I agree.
And it's a good movie.
Yeah,
it's a fun, and it is very sad.
Mm-hmm.
That is very sad. Now I feel awkward and I don't know what to say anymore.
You want to see something really scary? Hey,
Classic.
so yeah, The Rule of Jenny Penn. Oh man, so I'm dying to see this. It played some festivals, and it's on Shudder now. And so Annabelle and I watched it, and right from the beginning, I was like, I think I'm gonna love this movie. And I will say, I've seen people say it's slow or it's boring, and it's definitely
said that.
I've seen people say this. Yeah.
Ah, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it's two of the best performances. It's two great actors, and they're
not
great.
Even two of the greatest performances. There was all around good performances. Like their buddy was awesome. Well, one of their buddies, not both of their buddies.
Yeah, well, I think I looked up the actor's name, George Henare or Henare. I'm not sure how you say his last name. Sorry, George. But I think he's like the heart of the movie.
Oh, like George, I think it's George Henare. But not both of us could be wrong. But I agree because he's like the normal guy. You've got the totally dick judge. Because when you start out, we have free reign to talk about this. When it starts out, you've got Geoffrey Rush. He's this big deal judge. He's in the court. He's sentencing some guy who's a horrible man. And he's, very eloquent, saying his things about how awful this guy is. And off into the room, you see a woman, you hear a woman crying, and she's like, "Stop right there. You let it happen." These kids.
She's trying to thank him. She's like, thank you, right. Because it's a child abuse case. And this, is the mother. So it's either, the wife of this guy or the boyfriend or the girlfriend of this man. And yeah, he's like, you're complicit. You let this happen. You let this guy in the house.
And it's like, maybe that's true. And wow.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the movie, you think okay, we're setting this guy up that he's not the most sympathetic guy. But as the movie goes on, his
wrong either, right?
Yeah, exactly. But also as the movie goes on, what he specifically says in that instance really it makes it more powerful as the movie goes on.
Absolutely. So yeah, you get this, and as he's delivering this, he starts to like have these, if you know anything about like actual strokes, you can kind of tell like something's up. He starts to stutter his words. He's having a hard time holding something. He has a stroke. He ends up in an everyday nursing home. There's no one special there. It's certainly below him. And the reason he's there is because apparently there's not enough rooms at the inn, and other places are just not.
So when he gets there, he doesn't realize it's double occupancy. And so this is something I have some familiarity with because I used to work at the nursing home, and then I was at a nursing home, the same nursing home actually. After I had my surgery, I had physical therapy, and so I was placed in the nursing home. It was a nursing home and physical therapy, and I was the only person there for physical therapy. Everyone else was, older people, and all the rooms were double occupancy. So I had a roommate during that time who was 90,
I believe.
Yeah, Fred. I mean, he had some things, but yeah, overall, I liked him. Yeah.
What were his things?
So he was in a.
No one's gonna know who Fred is.
No, and this, hopefully he's still around, but he'd be over 100 now. But so he was in a wheelchair, but he could still walk a little bit. So, his eyesight wasn't very good. He's 93. So, so I'm laying in bed. And so we were separated by a curtain. There'd be a curtain down the middle of the room. That's the only separation. His bed's that side, my bed's this side. And then we have a shared bathroom, which was also shared by the other room. So it's shared by 4 people.
Oh.
And so he has a commode. For people who don't know, I had a colostomy bag during this time. So I only had to use the bathroom for number 1, not number 2. But anyway, so he would use a commode. And this one night I'm laying there wide awake, and he starts walking over from his curtain with the commode, and he stops and he looks over at me, Well, let's say, so he's walking and he looks over. And I'm just looking at him. He must think I'm asleep. And then he keeps going and he keeps looking over at me. And then he puts a commode right in front of my bed. And then he walks back to his side of the room. I was just like, and so then the male, we had a lot of nurses. One was a male nurse, and he's very, very tall. But anyway, he came in and he was just like, he came in and Fred's like, what's in there? And the guy said shit, which I thought was kind of a weird thing for the nurse to say. And he's like, oh, really? Oh, really? And then he's like, you can't put your commode over on his side of the room, Fred. And he's like, oh, that's not mine. But I obviously didn't have one because I couldn't be in one.
Oh, that nurse must be entertained, which is funny. And then to with the movie, man, what a dismal painting of, and I don't think anybody thinks, oh, being in any kind of nursing home is a joy and a pleasure. It is great, and dang,
Bubba Hotep's a good connection, but Bubba Hotep's a much more
for which one
silly movie, huh?
For whom?
These were some. Troy said some movies with old. Said you don't see a lot of movies with old folks, and then you mentioned Ghost Story, Bubba Hotep, and Insomnia are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah, I guess horror stories. I was thinking of what's that amazing movie where they go Cocoon, but that's not.
Yeah, Cocoon, right? I think they were all like 50 when they made it.
That's crazy. So yeah, the nursing home is not a great place. Geoffrey named Stefan discovers, and he's very bothered, but he's fine. He thinks he's going to be transferred at some point. So he takes his wheelchair and goes outside, and there's some other old dude, and he's just a mess. They are just clearly from different ends of the privilege spectrum.
As someone had experience in the nursing home, that is very common thing too. Is a lot of people in the nursing home who still have their mind and stuff think, "Oh, I'm going home soon," and not all of them are, and that is very sad. Even my roommate Fred, it was like he was in there for a while, and he kept saying that eventually he's going home, but I don't think he was.
Steve asks, "Have you seen The Curse of the Black Demon?" I have not.
I have not.
No, my interest is piqued.
And so while he, that gives him hope, the Geoffrey Rush character, that, I'll be going home soon. And then as things progress. The woman. Geoffrey Rush was the same way though. Yeah.
Oh, but I mean to say, so in this is one of the big, wow, this movie is intense scenes. Mm-hmm. Is he's goes outside and there's some old dude there and he's hacking up like crazy, and it's like, ugh. And he was kind of like, ugh. But then that guy offered him a cigarette, which, is like a struggle as them passing each other the cigarette. And then the guy goes with his Zippo and he's struggling even to open the Zippo and light it. And they just kind of sit there and have a few words. Geoffrey decides he's going to take his electric wheelchair and go across the lawn. Meanwhile, the guy, he pulled out a little bottle, a pocket bottle of booze, and was like, "Do you want some?" And Geoffrey's like, no. So Geoffrey's off on the lawn. This other guy, he's coughing so hard, and he's got the bottle open. He tried to drink it, but he's just gags it out all over himself. And then you see Geoffrey, and he's, from his, we're now in Geoffrey's space and see him kind of thinking through what's happening. And the guy coughs so hard, right? He's got alcohol over him, and then he goes to light the cigarette, and woof! He's fully ablaze. Fully ablaze. Geoffrey Rush can't do anything. Stefan can't do anything. Because what's he gonna do? Scoot back, and then what? He doesn't have a physical capacity to save him, and there's just no one around. They're outside. The staff doesn't see it right away. It's just so grim and holy shit. When you're here, good luck.
And that's a theme of the movie is helplessness.
absolutely. And it was hard. It was like, shit, I don't want this for myself. But everybody there was feeling it, right? It's not just, it affects you as the viewer of, I think, for me, respecting how awful that is. And so, no, it's just not just sad, but
not just the helplessness of yourself, the helplessness to help others, people are going to do anything. That's a recurring theme in the movie.
Yes.
And there's I thought a really powerful scene, before a lot of things are even happening with Stefan's character is he's in the bath. Looks like he's trying to commit suicide. He's barely strong enough to even do that. And then when he decides to not do it, he's too weak to save himself.
And most people really have like an instinctive, like, you can only hold your breath so long, and then your body is just like, no, I'm gonna just not do that. It's just a reaction. And so, it's so sad. You could see, and it's shot so amazingly, so artistic, the use of lights, the distance, the angles, the everything. There's one amazing long shot. It becomes long, where Geoffrey is recovering, or Stefan is recovering in a bed, and you see him like this, and then the camera just backs away, and it backs away, and it backs away, and just shows the expansive, lonely isolation of him being in this space. So there's all of these things on its own, all these elements of being a place where people have dementia and are struggling physically, mentally, in all the ways. That's horrifying on its own. And then in comes Dave. And Dave, would you like to share more about Dave?
Oh, so this is the John Lithgow character, and so he as the name of the movie, he rules the nursing home.
Does he rule the nursing home?
Well, Jenny Penn does, and he is just a sadistic, evil person. Not only is he tormenting everybody, but then you got to, as you're already saying, this is already a sad place. This is already the last. Yeah, it's already the last place for most people. So at the very least, the idea is like, well, let these people, live out their last days in peace and stuff. But they can't even do that because this guy is tormenting them every night. And, that's just, not only would that be evil anyway, but it just adds, a really sick dimension to this guy.
Definitely. And Jenny Penn,
he doesn't want to just off them. He really wants to torture them because he gets off on them, their misery.
So Jenny Penn, the rule of Jenny Penn, though Jenny is the fucked up baby doll. And that's something you see early, which is really interesting, is so Geoffrey's getting a sense of the place. He's in like the common area, we watch TV or whatever. And someone says, as he's looking around, says to him, those guys over there, it's so bad that the staff gives them toys and babies, and how tragic that is that these people's minds are to the place that they've got these dolls like children, is what they say. And one of them is Dave with Jenny Penn, and he is not a dummy, and he's not a weak man either.
No, he's the strongest of anyone, any of the people that are in there.
And he has presence. Like, you could see he's not off balance. His one thing is he has asthma. Otherwise, he's fairly unlimited and unrestricted. And
he's got his mental capacities.
Yeah. So,
and then part of the movie too is you see a lot of like pictures from the 60s and stuff, and you find out that Dave worked here for years, which then you start to think, like, was he always this way? Is this why he worked there? And this is why he wanted to continue to be there after.
I think they probably kept him because, it's Dave. Right. He was the staff. old Dave. He's just crazy old Dave. And let's just, because he's a really good liar. And I think he probably was. And I don't want to give every single plot point moment in the story away. But there's some scenes, and it really is like, this man is an evil man who has done horrible things his whole life to these people. He's been that abusive, whatever you'd call it. Maybe not a nurse, but like the caretaker person, who is an abuser, as we hear about. And then because really, I say it's horrifying, but the place is pretty nice. You know, the people are giving good things. At one point, there's like a 4-piece orchestra quartet that plays. It's really beautiful. So they try.
Yeah.
No one is really actively mean. People won't listen to Stefan because he's a bastard, and no one wants to listen to him. They just assume he's being a fucking uptight dick. So no one wants to listen to him when he starts to say things about Dave is doing stuff. And the other people are so intimidated, they will not say anything against Dave and Jenny Penn.
So one of the Jenny Penn, not only do you, so he's like, you have to outright say who's the ruler, and you have to say Jenny Penn rules. And so Geoffrey Rush's character Stefan, he's always adamant he will not do it, no matter what's going on, even if maybe it would protect the other guy, but he won't give in.
Too much.
Yeah, he won't give in. But not only that, then there's even like a really gross element, and then he's like, and lick her asshole, which is the back of his hand, but it's just like the idea of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And he's not running around to everybody. Jenny is always on his hand. Wherever he is in this space, Dave always has Jenny with him, and doesn't talk with everyone as Jenny, but when he creeps around at night doing his misdeeds, that's his element of, like, this is worse than a knife. This is a demon. It is a weapon. This is evil. And they do such an amazing job with the lighting that the eyes, so there's no eyes in the doll. It's just like a plastic head with a barest little cloth over it. Like it was a broken doll because it has no hair. And there's light get cast behind it sometimes, and the eyes glow, and it's creepy as hell.
It's a great job. I know something you've brought up before is like when they actively try to make a doll look like too like evil, where it's like no one would buy this or whatever. This is just a plain old doll, a puppet doll. That's just, like you said, the eyes have fallen out and stuff. So they didn't do anything. It would have just been a very cheap, puppet doll. And I was wondering, I wonder if maybe that's, well, I know it's based on a book, but I could see like someone just seeing a doll like that and the light shine and just kind of like giving the idea for like the movie. You know what I mean? Like it just looks creepy.
Yeah. And it seems when you see it and the lights behind it, it really feels like this really is its own being. It really feels like this is the haunted, fucked up.
Yeah. And then he has Stefan has some weird eyes going on in the movie too.
Oh yeah, they show his eyes changing. There's a really interesting shot where you're below, like as if you were like at his feet looking up towards him, and the way it's like they've got lighting on him that shows the whites of his eyes in all these really strange ways, but different things throughout the movie. Yeah.
Steve wants to know, is this free on Tubi? No, it's on Shudder. So go check it. I don't believe it's on Tubi.
I don't think so.
But yeah, so you get as I mentioned, it's your last. This is the last from almost everyone there. It's gonna be their last days here. So not only just want to be like comfortable and stuff, and so not only is this guy like physically doing stuff to you, it's humiliating you. So like you have, none of the it's just a terrible experience these last few days, instead of the idea of like at least make this a comfortable stay while they're there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a really good line I wrote down.
Oh, it was great. Geoffrey Rush, Stefan kept quoting all of these amazing quotes. And he was just such an intellectual and so desperately clinging to that, because that was his life, his intellect, and being a judge and being able to figure things out and be acutely aware of whatever was happening. And for him to be, his mind is going, then they find out he's been stashing his meds. That was his stashing his meds, because once that they find it, he starts to not do as well, because then he's actually getting the medications they prescribed him. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those interesting things where Neal knows this, some of you might know this, that I have beef with being anti-meds in movies. I do not think this is the same. I think that there absolutely are, whether it's institutional or private, that people can be over-medicated. And especially institutionalized people, like in a nursing home, or when I worked in adolescent residential, people were medicated so that they would be quiet.
Right.
And that was, Stefan was a really nasty bastard. Even when he wasn't he was just mean. He was mean to people. He would want to belittle them because he was better than them, and he would push them down. Not to the level of Dave, but they were.
Yeah, I think that's why the Tony character is really needed, because Stefan, I mean, you definitely feel bad for him, but he's not like a super nice guy. So you would have kind of a mean guy, then a sadistic guy. But then when you have the Tony character, he's the actual victim in the movie. There's other victims, but of the main characters, he's the one you really feel the most for.
Yeah. And at one point he does talk about how originally he thought that his life would have, because he's observing all of these people who they're just there, and their families aren't coming. And
there's a line I wrote down, like because the Stefan's kind of asked him, like, why don't you tell people and stuff, and he mentions that he doesn't want to be something to pity.
Yes. And also when he gained a little more humanity when he was talking about how when Stefan was talking about, he thought he would have a family once upon a time before he became this, and he calls himself bitter. Before he became that bitter person, he thought he would have a family and he would get old and have grandkids around him. And what happened to him? And I think that was most helpful in making him more of a sympathetic character.
Yeah. Kind of almost a Scrooge type character.
Yeah. And he started to develop a relationship with not Dave. What's the name of the
Tony?
Tony. The Tony character, the poor guy in the middle, where he is. Oh, Neal's having a focus issue.
Yeah. Here we go.
Maybe.
I think it's all right now.
So Tony is the poor guy in the middle. He just so happens to be this poor dude is in the same room as Stefan. And that just damns him, because Dave is trying to like get Stefan through Tony, because the idea of, well, no one's going to let someone else suffer. You're
right. It's like, yeah, it might be hard to break you down, but if I do something to this guy, then
then surely.
And then, as Tony says, and then it made it worse for him, because not only that, he's like, now he has an audience too. So it's like,
yeah. And then Tony didn't say the next day, like, oh, he didn't say anything because he's so scared of Dave.
That starts to go back to the beginning of the movie, like these people are complicit. You know, when does someone stand up? And then at the same time, you know, you kind of realize why they don't. And so I'm sure Stefan, you know, after maybe he doesn't even think about it, but the idea like, oh, now you can see why, you know, someone doesn't always stand up.
But it was so the characters were amazing. The story was incredible. And the cinematography, amazing. I loved how the curtain between the two beds in the room was this gloriously bright, brilliant red. It was just like a theater curtain. So the character of Dave and Jenny, they would be
very much like as you mentioned the audience,
wild shadows, like a pantomime kind of thing, and it was so clever with what it did with its visuals. And sometimes I won't go into detail, but there were some times where Jenny was pretty surreal.
Yes,
It was pretty cool. Used sparingly and well.
100%, I agree. I think they were very wise not to do too much with the puppet, you know, to make it like look too elaborate or anything. Music is great in the movie too. There's a lot of old weird music, and then some stuff I've heard or whatever. But when you actually listen to the lyrics, it's like very dark stuff, really. And when you especially in with what's going on in the movie, and they pick music very well in the movie.
It's funny because two of the songs I recognized from Monty Python.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's a New Zealand movie too, which is interesting. Obviously, they're great actors anyway, but they're not hamming it up, and they're also they're professionals and everything. But I think they really connected to the script, because to the material, because they're really giving it their all in this movie.
Well, and they're also old dudes, right? So they're aging. They're facing. I mean, they're both. I can't imagine going to end up in a situation like this.
Right. It's a much darker movie than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a little more silly, kind of like old guy, like a grumpy old men kind of movie. But no, it's a very dark movie.
I didn't. Oh, that's interesting.
I loved it. I'm so glad we get to see it.
Yeah. But for them, I can imagine, because they both produced it as well. The idea of, you know, we're all hopefully going to be getting older, and it's something that we take for granted, that we're young and can do things. And so I'm sure they're living with their aches and their pains and their stuff. And they're both shown in the shower. And people get old, you know? Yep. So knowing that and them seeing that, I have to imagine there's a different kind of relevance for people who are getting up there, you know?
Yeah. So when I was 40, Annabelle came and visited me a lot, but I had to so I had surgery and I couldn't shower myself at the time, and it is a very it is humiliating to have someone like almost hose you down. And so watching that scene, it was, you know, kind of hit me. But yeah, it's just the idea that they're like, you know, that you have to have, it's got like when you're a baby, someone's watching you, and now, you know, a grown man who's a judge, and even if you're not a judge, whatever you are, you're a grown human being, and you have to rely on someone to even bathe you.
And they really drove it home. This, you know, like Stefan, they're trying to help him strengthen his brain so he could use that part of his body again. And they're trying to get him to like get just a plastic cup. And Dave's laughing in the background, but
he couldn't even grab it.
Plastic cup, and it just over and over and over, and it keeps tipping, and I'm just like, oh my God, man. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I think it was good when Troy brought up, like, there's not a lot of films about elders and horror films about elders, and I'm glad that this exists, and I honestly hope there is more film that's not just like a jokey, grumpy old men, but things that are actually involving elders, not as just like a source of humor.
I agree. And yeah, and take advantage of some of these great actors. You know, and for them to play their age.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't say enough about this movie. I thought it was great. Like I said, I saw some negative stuff about it being boring or it's not really a horror movie. That kind of stuff I always look over the not horror movie stuff. But
it's clearly a horror movie.
Yeah.
There's violence.
Yeah.
I mean, not that all movies with violence are horror, of course not. But with the Jenny Penn, come on, this is a psychological thriller. At least.
Insomnia, that's a King book, I believe.
That's the one I think.
I haven't read it.
I think so. Maybe it's a Hill book.
Perhaps. By the way, Troy, you weren't here last night when we talked about it, but the Institute, Annabelle, found that they're making a series of a newer Stephen King, which I believe Troy read after I told him about it.
Mm-hmm.
One I really recommended.
Mm-hmm.
See, Jenny Penn. I would love to get somebody on. Obviously, Geoffrey Rush, Lithgow would be amazing. I think the director would be amazing. And I mentioned the guy a few times, the Tony character. I think he's great. So, and I also saw it was based on a book. I'd be interested in checking out the. I'm gonna see if there's an audio version.
I think you really the Tony. You were so right. It's really is. He is the most normal person. He is the most really sympathetic person. Because he does have to face like the choices of self-preservation versus, doing the right thing. Stefan gives him, rightfully so, is criticizing him as being a coward. And that really over time gets to Tony. But it takes a long time, so it's like everybody gets to their breaking point.
Yeah, and it's not really everyone's sort of right. Besides, Dave
isn't right.
Besides this character, the other guys, they're all right. They're all right, and they all have their reason. He's right that it could be cowardly, but he's also doesn't quite understand, the reason why he's not doing what he is. So. I like that in a movie where it's not like there's only this way.
I'm thinking too, we're talking about all the different people and the other cast members are excellent as well. And I remember the scene where Tony's just he's so evil. There's this one woman, the one that always thinks she's going home, that it's going to be Christmas and it's been like 2 weeks and her family's coming to get her. Constantly, that's what she talks about. She sounds like she's totally with it until you realize, like Stefan does, that she's repeating herself. Mm-hmm. Date is late, middle of the night, and the colors at night are so different too, because there's that kind of like icky institutional greenish blue with like the color of, if you've got exit signs and they're all red and there's like these weird red lights. So there's this actually kind of like yourself right now.
Right. I actually do have
red creepiness.
Got my green lights on this side and then my red lights over here.
Mm-hmm. So they have that kind of visual, a little more dramatic. Mm-hmm. And freaking Dave leads her outside trying to get her key card. She's got like a pass that gets her around, because everybody has like if you're at a hotel or whatever, you gotta buzz through. And he leads her outside. And then realizes he's got the wrong card. But by now she's already fucking floating in the muck. So that's a whole event for him. But that is beautiful when you see her laying there as the sun rises, and it's like, it's so sad seeing her, because she really is sweet. Like, there's people in there that you feel bad for them. They know that they were people, right? I mean, they are people, but they had like lives and stories and things then you maybe can't access. And for her to just be there in this beautiful scene, there's like sun coming through this little brook and the trees, and it's lovely. And it's kind of it's not the same, but sort of now making me think about in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, when they've got that woman and you're like close up on her, and then you start panning out to the scene, and it's like just this discarded person.
Yeah, it's really well. It's well made all around. The score, the cinematography, just really everything.
I'm going to say something about the score, because something I know, I'm like, this
the music, but yeah,
this movie is really, really different. It just felt different, and I was trying to think of like, what is it? It's a beautiful movie and it's a great story, but there's something different that I was trying to notice. And I noticed that there's almost no score at all. Almost entirely no score, except when there's some really dark shit happening. Other than that, it's just not there. It's just the strength of the scene and the characters, which I think says so much for it, because scoring can dramatically impact a film and really elevate it. Or if it's a shitty one, really take it down.
Yeah.
But for this to kind of just exist without that really showed the strength.
Now, I like that you don't necessarily get like a motivation from Dave's end. It's just an evil guy. And, Stefan even tries to like, he's like, oh, what's you were molested as a kid. You were all these different things. And he just kind of looks at him and laughs and stuff. And I always think that makes it scarier. I mean, I'm not saying it, if you have a motivation or you have a backstory, it can't be scary. But I always think just the idea that why is this guy doing this is scary. He's just an evil guy. It's kind of like Michael Myers.
What's the name? Why can't I ever think of it? British guy, beloved. I had a really good documentary about him on Netflix. He was real tall. He was in TV. He was friends with the royal family. This was like in the 70s.
Like the child molester guy?
Yeah, the guy that would creep in hospitals. Shit, what's his name?
Because he would even joke about it on TV interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
Seville?
Yeah, Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, Savile, yeah.
Yes. So some people are just horrible, and then they're not just that they're doing the evil things, but they pretend to be innocent when they're in the public, the people who could actually do something to stop it, and they're innocent in front of those people, and they're only known to their victims. Very evil.
So I would definitely recommend the movie. The director is also one of the things he says he's known for is the movie Black Sheep, which is a really funny comedy about zombie sheep. You've never seen it?
Nice.
I don't know. I don't think he directed it. Maybe he's in it.
People do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
He's a versatile fella.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I loved it. So highly recommended. I'm just gonna say 5. 5 bloody stumps.
100%.
Let's make this official here. Boom.
And a 5.
I thought I had on both sides, but I must not. But 5 and 5. Oh, I know what I can do. 5 and 5.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, this was just brilliant. I can't think of any flaw in it. I was worried that John Lithgow would not be able to put off British accent. That kills me when people's accents are off. He got it. I have no thing to say that would be. I have no criticism, no thoughts, no. They could have, should have, would have.
Yeah, it's really well made. The performances are just top notch. I was just in it right from the beginning. You really feel a lot of tension in the movie. You feel for, yeah, it's just a great movie. It's going to be on my top 13 for the year. I know that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think also this, we have these two very well-respected actors, and they've done a lot of diverse things. But for them to join up to do this film and have it be it's just so well done, I think is saying a lot about where horror is in the mainstream.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about stuff like this, not just, the serious, the ones that are the serious, like the substance went as high as you can go. Mm-hmm. And that hopefully there will be more like this that will be able to be more respected and seen for the story, because it's not just about the scary story, which it is a scary story. There's other things that are, social commentary that's happening there as well.
Yep. Just a great movie. And like I said, it's I don't really understand that people said it's not horror, but I never really get that usually when people say that. So
I think people just like to be rabble rousers there. Yeah. They're just trying to create.
And I also like the, it's just a little thing, but I like at the end during the credits, John Lithgow, Geoffrey Rush, their names are equal, like across. It's not like it's not one above the other.
Yeah,
they both deserve it. I mean, not just like name value, just like they both really bring it in the movie.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Can't say enough good about it. Said it all. Don't want to tell too much more of what happens in the story, or we'll
yeah
the whole damn thing.
Yeah, because I do want people to see it. Yeah, watch it. I told my mom about it. She's gonna watch it. So.
Oh, she'll freaking
I think she'll really like it a lot. She's gonna like Ed Kemper too. And Chad gave me the okay to share the link with my mom.
Nice, very good. If you didn't see that interview yesterday, we had an interview with many people of the new Ed Kemper movie.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I like all, honestly, I like all our interviews, but that's a really great interview. I thought it was really just it was a good conversation with everybody. We talked about a lot of topics, and Steven will be back on the show to talk about his career, which is going to be really cool. And so is it Brandon, who's very excited to come back on.
Yes, so we've got, that would be the author.
Yes, the author who's done a lot of interesting movies.
He does a lot of the true crime things. Yeah. And our wonderful friend Joe Castro, special effects man, he's doing so well. He's so busy all the time. Chad Farron, director, he's done a lot of Lovecrafty stuff. This was a big shift for him, big shift, and it really shows off his skill.
It's funny because I noticed that Richard Ramirez was his display picture for a little while here on Facebook, and I was kind of confused as to why. But now I see why, because he's writing the movie.
And Brandon, who played Ed Kemper, was
really, he's so cool. I've been texting with him today. He's a good guy.
Oh, very nice.
So
with all the folks.
Yeah, no, I don't text with a lot. I don't mean like DMs or anything. We're actually texting on phone, which I don't really do a lot with people. But yeah, I like Brandon a lot. And he really likes the shows. Cool. Stephen Johnston, he's done the Hillside Strangler in 2004, Ed Gein in 2000. Stark Weather. I'm not sure if I know that one. But anyway, he's done a lot of cool things. Ted Bundy movie.
What a great pairing to have these two films. It really, I think they are a good pairing of psychological, dark shit. It's really...
I don't think I've seen his Ed Gein movie. And his Ed Gein movie from 2000 stars someone I would love to get on the show, and that's Steve Railsback, who did an amazing job as Charles Manson in the old Helter Skelter TV series, TV movie.
Wow. Well,
interesting that he played, Manson, then he played Ed Gein.
Don't forget, we've got other people lined up.
Oh, yeah. No, well, I know we've got a lot of people coming up, but I want to plan. We're going to do this sometime in the summer. I want to do, and I've been asking people their favorite on Facebook, and I'm going to keep track of what people like. Sometime in the summer, we're going to do True Crime Month. I think that's something we've not done on the show before, and so I've already got people saying some stuff I wasn't really familiar with. So, there's a few movies like I.
Was there a particular series of months that Summer of Sam occurred?
That's actually a good question. Yeah, we'll look into that.
The month where this is so dark, but I wonder if we would have permission to play Manson music.
It's possible. I could look into that.
Great fit, because years and years ago.
There's also we were gonna have so one of the family, the Manson family that gave us the permission to use the music was like an original, not someone who went to prison, but was part of that group. He showed interest in doing an interview.
Oh,
so I don't know that maybe we could do that.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, this was way back. We did a show, and we had started with the music of the month, and somehow we ended up getting the actual Charles Manson music from his youth. And we were able to play it on the show. Paul Kelman was not down with that.
No,
at all. Paul Kelman, rest in peace, actor.
I get it.
He was from that time, right? And I can understand that. I think it comes up about people being glorified, and that makes sense. And I think that maybe can be taken too lightly. And what are you going to do?
So even though I was saying earlier, when people say this isn't horror, blah, 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 whatever, but the true crime is a little tricky because people are suggesting stuff like Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacres are inspired by Ed Gein. In my mind, I don't include them, but
true crime?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't see Texas Chainsaw Massacre as true crime.
No, I do not. No, not true crime.
Yeah,
it's not true.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know it's inspired by Ed Gein, but it's like very loose, very.
Say that shit. That is true crime.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't work for me. So
who says that? Who the hell would be out there saying people that don't watch movies?
So it can't just be inspired by and I'm not saying it has to be. They can't take liberties in the movie. You know what I mean? But I think it has to be like about the actual person.
Would anyone from Mindhunter come on that show?
Hey, I don't know. Maybe. Probably
not. Anybody who hasn't seen the show Mindhunter.
I would love to. There's someone in Mindhunter I would love to get on the show. Well, honestly anybody, but let me find the guy's name. Holt McCallany. Now I'm a big fan of this guy. I didn't even know who. Now I've seen him in stuff for years, and I was like this. I always liked him. He's in this. It was called The Comeback, I think. It was this shortly. It only lasted one season. It got canceled. About a boxer, an old boxer who makes a comeback because he loses all his money. I thought it was great. He's great in The Shot Caller. He's amazing in Mindhunter. But then I didn't realize for the longest time until someone posted about this. He is in Creepshow 2. He's the long-haired guy who gets scalped
by Paul Kalman.
Yes.
Weird.
And I was just like, I can't believe that's the same guy.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
So he would be an amazing guest. We could talk about that. He might not. He'd be like, I'm not talking to you, losers.
I mean, anybody could say that.
Right.
So
yeah, I'd like to get him. But anyone from Mindhunter would be great. That'd be a good one, though. It would fit the month. So, but I agree. We got people that are Lights Out was the show I was talking about, not The Comeback. But I would say it's not horror at all, but it's a good series, and it's only one season, so you could watch the whole thing. It's like 8 episodes or something. But it's too bad it didn't go on. It was a good show. So same thing with Mindhunter. It's too bad there was never an actual final season. Yeah. But yeah, it's and Stacy Keach plays his dad in that movie. In that show. It's so good. Yeah, Mindhunter.
So
we can have dueling Ed Kempers.
Battle it out.
That would be true. All right. So
yeah.
So but our friend from Genital Productions, he had suggested a bunch of Mexican true crime movies, which I'd never heard of.
Cool.
So that was cool. The movie The Girl Next Door, which is actually 2 movies about the same case. The one's more like true to actually what happened, and the other one's more of I think it's the same story, but it's more of a horror movie. But anyway, it's a lot of good choices.
Yes. Besides is one of the top choices for all y'all to watch. The Rule of Jenny Penn.
Yes. See The Rule of Jenny Penn. We really recommend it, both Annabelle and I.
Absolutely.
If anyone tells you otherwise, screw them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got a lot of fun stuff coming up this week. Jeff Lieberman, who's made a bunch of cool movies we mentioned, Squirm, Blue Sunshine, a lot of Satan's Little Helper, a lot of cool stuff. He seems like a real character, so this will be fun. Some former guest of ours said that he's a really cool guy. He seems like very much a character, so I'm looking forward to that one.
So that'll be Thursday.
Yeah, this Thursday.
That will be the
10th.
The 10th, 8 p.m. EST.
The 17th will be Bite School 2. So we're going to have the return of James Balsamo, the return of Michael Epstein, the return of Sophia Cacciola, the return of Joe Castro, and some other cast members. So it's going to be probably a really insane show because it's going to be a lot of people. But it'll be very fun.
I can't imagine even having James Balsamo and Joe Castro together. That would be the energy.
Yes,
it's going to be something else.
So this is another one we'll have to watch. Bite School 2. I haven't watched it yet, and I'm actually really looking forward to not only James Balsamo movie, but it's the first one that Michael and Sophia shot and Michael edited, and so I'm really interested.
Well, you're gonna have to share it.
Yes,
so you can check it out, and yeah.
And then also Billy Coyne will be on then in the second hour of that show, talking about his career. And Our Man Funk, which is shooting at the end of this month.
Our Man Funk with our friends Bill Whedon,
and
Adrian Cutler.
Michael's flying out.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole ton of people. So that's an up and coming indie film from our friends.
Yes. Yeah, Zach Amico is in it. Comedian Zach Amico is on the show. Yeah, it's going to be good.
So it is almost 1 a.m. here. It is time for sleep. But this has been a wonderful evening. I'm so glad we ended up doing this. Yeah. And
so I hope you guys liked it. And next time we'll try to give you a little more heads up. But hopefully this becomes a semi-regular thing, because I do like it. I do like watching movies, obviously, but it's fun to watch movies with Annabelle, and it's not always possible to meet up. So we this was not a movie that we could really talk a lot during, honestly. The last one was like, it was kind of, depending on people know out there, if it's like a silly horror, you can kind of talk, what, not in the theater, but when we watch Screamboat, we could goof around with each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Not so much this.
No, this you really gotta. You do your if you're watching it with other people, do them a favor, do yourself a favor, and pay attention to what's going on.
So I'm gonna make Annabelle happy here. I'm gonna start keeping track of our screeners in a spreadsheet, and then we can figure out episodes and whatnot.
Good, and then you can plop in the little links.
Yeah.
So I could go.
Yeah, some have links, some we have to watch together because it's just the way it's made up. So, but we'll figure it out. It'll be good.
Very nice.
So we're gonna play us out here with the trailer of The Rule of Jenny Penn. And then we will see you guys Thursday. Hit the like button, subscribe, share this out, leave some nice comments. And if you would help support the channel, you can become a member. We hit over 60 members this month, which is really cool.
Well, we had a lot of help from
from Mike's shitty internet provider. So anyway, I'm going to start remastering the old audio only episodes and putting them up as bonus content for members only. So I want to give them a little special.
Ooh.
All right.
Very nice. All right.
And here she is, the coffee queen herself, Mrs. Jenny Penn.
Knees up, Mother Brown. Knees up, Mother Brown. Come along, dearie, let it go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Ease up, don't let the breeze up. Ease up, Mother Brown. Hi.
I'll be better soon. Then I'm gone.
Stay clear of that lot over there. They're nuts. Give them toys to play with like children.
What's going to happen is you'll get worse and worse till you can't speak or even lift a finger. But that's if you can still think straight enough to know what kind of hell you're in. My whole life, I've been so bored. But time, it seems, has awarded me certain advantages. Be a waste not to honor that, don't you think?
He's the menace here. He's been at me from the jump. Where there are no lines, hyenas roar. Enjoy your hidey hole.
Who rules?
Jenny Penn.
That's right. We don't stop playing because we get old. We get old because we stop playing.
Hello, Jenny Penn.
Yeah. Good night, Jenny Penn.